Have you ever wanted to play a city builder, but instead of a set or predefined environment, the city is actually also a giant creature? That's basically what the Wandering Village is. I got access to their 1.0 launch that came out today, and honestly it's a very good city builder, and the entire mechanic of the city is actually on top of a giant creature isn't just a gimmick. It actually impacts the gameplay and how you're managing resources and building out your city in meaningful ways. The story mode doesn't just serve as a really good way of learning the game's mechanics and resource management, but it's actually really well written as well. I enjoy when a game takes sort of a post-apocalyptic setting but makes it a little bit more cozy, the story is a little bit more hopeful, and technology becomes more symbiotic with the world. But that isn't to say that there isn't some more grittiness to this game. For example, Onbu, the creature that you build your city on, you have a symbiotic relationship with it, but as you continue harvesting resources that are part of this creature, you can technically force it to do things that it necessarily doesn't want to do, but there are some trade-offs to that. I won't go into major spoilers here. And I always find it compelling when a game manages to take the classic environment and climate changes and how that impacts your crops and how you're building your city and puts a twist on it. In The Wandering Village, you can tell Onbu which path to take, and you have a high-level view of what that path looks like environment-wise, resource-wise, and I think it really adds some interesting decision-making as you progress. You'll notice that this art style kind of goes a little cozy, but don't get it twisted. This game can get pretty intense with the resource management, making sure that your villagers are happy and that you're building the right amenities for them, while also keeping track of Onbu's health. When it's standing up versus lying down, it impacts the humidity levels, the environment, which impacts the crops, which impacts what you can build. There are moments where, mechanically at least, this game reminded me of Frostpunk to some degree, so if you played that, you know that's a pretty high compliment. But this game still very much has its own identity, not just visually, but mechanically as well. This video isn't a full-on review. I just had early access to this game, so thank you to Stray Fawn Studios for providing the code for this. I highly recommend playing this game, especially if you love these city builder and resource management type games. The Wandering Village is a really good one to check out.